X-Cal.
How's everybody doing?
Morning, guys.
Come on, we need some feedback here.
That's right. Yeah.
We thrive off interaction. So, as Alan said, I'm Joe Carter. This is Eli. He's our welding expert. I'm just the talking points guy, so I'm the sales guy. We'll have you know I used to teach, so, be nice to me, as I'm sure you are to your instructors. We were asked to come up and show you some automation that's involved in advanced manufacturing, specifically a welding robot. So, what's the biggest concern that I heard some people talking earlier about robotics? Now, please shout it out. Come on. Taking over jobs, absolutely. Do we really know that that's really happening? Not really. What it really does is it creates new jobs, new opportunities. Robots can be used for things that you don't want to do. Like if you had a robot at your house that would take out the trash and do your chores, would that be cool? Absolutely. So robots do those tasks that you don't want a human to sit there and just have to do all day long. But they do it perfectly. They don't take a break. But when they do break, that's when a technician comes in, a robotics automation engineer, an application engineer, a robotic tech will touch up the teach points. So that's where it creates those new opportunities that you can have and go pretty much anywhere in the world with. Robotic technicians start out at about 85 to 90K a year. So that'll get you a nice truck or car and home, and then it goes up from there. There's also where you can go out and design things that you would never think of. Who's been to a McDonald's where the cups come down the line in an automated fashion where there's nobody touching them, they just circle around and fill up? That's basically a robotic system. So anywhere you see something that's automated, that's a form of robotics. So Eli's going to take over here and talk about programming the robot, take your questions, let somebody come up and do some programming themselves, whoever's brave enough, and show you what all the robot can do. We can't actually weld today because we don't have three-phase power in this room, but we can do everything but weld, and the biggest part is actually grabbing the robot and learning how to program it and then running the program. So with that said, Eli?
Yeah. So just to kind of be a little specific about this one, this is the APT makes this. It's called the Mod Weld, where we actually utilize a CRX-10 with a Fronius power source, okay? How many of y'all have heard of Fronius before? Probably not too many. Maybe.
Hey,
okay.
back here.
I'll take a couple. So Fronius is pretty cool, and we're going to talk about some other things that this robot can do, specifically using that Fronius power source. But what you're going to be able to do is this is going to be a really great training tool, and also it can be for industry making parts, making small parts. As you see, I've made some small parts here. You could very easily create different frames that this robot would run into, to where I could have a part here, a part here, and a part here.
Pass it around and look at it.
While it's welding parts 1 and 2, I can be at part 3, interchanging it out and everything like that. What you're going to see there is some pretty cool stuff. So utilizing Fronius CMT technology, we're able to weld stuff such as a galvanized steel to aluminum. So if any of y'all can understand how hard that actually would be, how we're able to do that is on the Fronius side as well, the CMT, the motors inside go forwards and reverse. So just as we would dipping in while we're TIG welding, same idea here. My actual motors here can go in and out, dipping in and dipping out, and that's why we're able to keep it nice and cold and do some fun stuff like tack Coke cans together. You're not going to be able to do that with any standard short circuit MIG. It's a pretty cool thing that we can utilize using that Fronius stuff. So some pretty cool stuff there. We can do touch sense, we can do gap welding, a lot of really cool things that can be implemented in, but you can see here the repeatability on how clean everything is. It's over and over. Once you set it once, it's going to repeat the same process the entire time. Over time, your table or something might come undone. You might have to touch up some small points, but the repeatability is quite insane. So the cool thing about the cobot is, like there's no sensors. I don't have any restrictions here. Our sensors are actually internal. There's a glass lens that it uses to help work out its payload. But if for some reason I'm just kind of working and I happen to bump it, it's going to stop, because I have now added to the payload, and it says, hey, well, you said my payload was 6.5. Why'd you give me more than that? So it's going to stop, and I'm going to say, hey, I'm sorry. I apologize for bumping you, and we're going to go back to work. So that's the ease of it right there. That's a really cool feature. We don't need any big cages, any motion sensors while we're here, or anything like that. It's made to work with a person. And this one specific welding, you have to be a welder in order to understand how to use a robotic welder. What can happen is a student that understands a robot a whole lot more, and then a welding student can kind of collaborate together, and they can work it out, because we don't teach a whole lot of actual weld inches a minute. Okay, we don't teach what a weld speed should be usually in a welding class. So learning that is going to be very vital for the future. Where you're going to see something like this big time in the future is on your major fabrication shops, where you could take a really big setup of this. You could roll it right up to a wall, and you could actually weld the whole wall itself. That takes away from a person having to be on a ladder, takes away from a little safety there, but it's still going to take a welder to be able to program everything in place. So this is a great tool to learn how to work with a robot, show it, learn what it can do and can't do, and complete imagination. Any questions so far on anything y'all see? No? Okay. Well,
Actually, how many jobs are out there that are wanting people that know robotics?
I'm gonna refer to Joe on that question.
You know, it's you can say, like in the Denver area, there's probably 100 open jobs right now. But would you say down in La Veta, Colorado, there are any jobs for robotics? No, but is that because there's not a need for it? You yourself have a plant, you make a lot of different products, and you could see the possibilities of adding automation, which would create more. So by a school having the ability to teach robotics, it also opens up the ecosystem for that community to offer new industry to come in, or existing industry to add robotics to their applications. So whether you've got a fab shop out here that does something that they're always doing over and over, and they're having trouble keeping welders because they want to go out and weld really cool things, that's where a robot could come in and be put into application, and not only continue to help that facility make money, but also give their welders opportunities to go out and make other revenue streams, so to speak. So there are literally hundreds of jobs across the nation. Everyone knows who Amazon is. Amazon runs a robotic apprenticeship program where they actually will take an applicant and send them to a college for 12 weeks to go through and learn electrical, pneumatics, hydraulics, mechanical, and then their capstone, or their final part of it, is to learn robotics, and then they get sent to one of the Amazon facilities, again making $80,000, $90,000 a year to help keep that plant running, or that distribution center running, because of the robotics that they're using that. We've got some videos here we'll show in a little bit of just some robots in application at an automotive facility. I think this one is actually a cosmetic just for you. But we'll also show the technology that Eli's been talking about. Fronius has some of the newest technology for welding that's out there. Instead of just your traditional welding, they've went above and beyond to make the welders smarter. So you've heard that term, smart technologies or Industry 4.0. Fronius is kind of on the leading edge of that, in having the technology that will allow you to weld Coke cans together, or to weld galvanized to aluminum.
100%, and to bounce off that point as well, aerospace is your leading customer for Fronius itself. They are actually 3D printing booster rockets utilizing the Fronius CMT process. The same thing you see here, just on a bigger scale. The applications are incredible. We can 3D print with this, no problem. I myself am doing a little learning on that. It's really, really cool. If you look up any Fronius on YouTube, you can see it. But just to kind of touch base a little bit more on the robot itself. So the T-Spin that you'll use, instead of like a big heavy controller like the R30IBs, they're yellow and use, we're just using a tablet. So you can use a, if you had Android or Apple, doesn't matter, as long as you have the FANUC app. This is just simply a housing that it runs in with an e-stop on top and everything like that. So the ease of use is really is quite terrific. And then to talk a little bit as well about Fronius, for some of you that can see over here, whenever you roll into the actual welder itself, and let's just say, hey, I didn't know anything except for how thick my material was, you can type in what your thickness is, and it's going to spit out basic common settings that you're going to have for amperage or wire speed, everything like that. But what is cool here that we found a lot of people enjoy and like is the fact that if I do, every time I make a change, it's going to show me a weld profile of what's going to happen. So the instructor can tell you all day long, hey, you know, do this, that, or this, but if you just happen to kind of walk up and make a mistake or just don't really know which way to go, whenever you dial it in, you can actually see direct implications of what's about to happen. So that's actually a really cool thing. So it definitely helps show the student and what they're about to do when they make big changes like that. So just kind of some cool things to talk about. This one is water cooled too, so we can do a lot of really heavy thick welds all day long. But yeah, so just to kind of touch up on some stuff there. Why don't I kind of show you how easy it can be to make a program. So starting off with a blank timeline right here that you can see. I tossed in one linear point just to kind of show it where it is right there. But I'm simply going to toss in the handle teach icon, which now tells the robot, hey, I'm gonna teach you some points. So on the side here, you can see they have, I have two buttons, right? I have two buttons that I can utilize, teach and jog mode. So every time I hit the teach button, it's going to toss in a linear point into my timeline. And so the robot only knows what I teach it, right? It doesn't know that there's a clamp here, there's cans here, anything like that. So it's up to me to teach as I go and show it the path that I'd like it to run. So for example, if y'all will watch the tablet, you'll see every time I say teach, 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 bring it in close, hold for 3, 1, 2, 3, weld start, slide it over, hold for 3, 1, 2, 3, weld end, teach, teach, teach. So I've now written in a program, and what it's going to ask for, because I did throw a weld in there, is it's going to say, hey, give me a welding procedure. And so for this particular case, I'll just throw in a fun little weave. And again, we are not live welding, this is just all motion. But now that I gave it a program, and I'm feeling pretty confident that I'm not going to hit anything, I'm going to disable the tablet, give it 100%, and it's going to go through every single point that I just gave it. Now we can smooth it up and make continual motions. Right now it's in fine, so it's going to go to my point, stop, and then start again. We can do a lot of really fun, tricky stuff as it goes. But that's just kind of showcase you how fast I can literally set up a weld right in front of you. So some other cool stuff would be if I wanted to delete all that, and so I'm just going to simply drag and drop and delete everything. And then let's just say I had some tricky spots I wanted to get into. So for this instance, we'll toss in the path teach, meaning that from that moment, every move that I make is going to record. And we'll do it at about 500 inches a minute, just kind of being fun about it. So we'll start there. So I'm going to hit unlock the robot. Now it's going to, the moment that I start moving, it's going to now record every motion that I have. So let's just say we put some cans out for the fun of it. So now it's going to be recording. Stop. Okay, now all I'm going to do is play that back. We didn't toss any welds in there, right? But I'm going to play that back just to kind of show you guys how cool it is on the actual motion of itself. Sorry, I'm in the way of the camera. But just show you guys how easy it is to manipulate and everything like that. It's very easy. If you don't like a spot in it, you can touch up a new point and move it to that. Any questions on that? Kind of cool? Yeah, nay? Cool.
You got a question?
Oh, got a question. That's a Joe question. I am just a tech. I'm the guy that works on it.
A little more than going to college.
Yeah.
A little more than going to college.
Any other questions? Kind of cool? Kind of cool?
Does
All
it
right.
function on the any optics, or is it all just?
So we can absolutely include vision into it to where we can give it a parameter on what I want it to find, what kind of a corner I want it to find or something like that. And yes, it will actually know when it's coming to a corner and teach itself a little bit there. What we do already have, though, that you don't necessarily need vision for, is we have weld sense, and meaning that it will actually go through and it's going to push in and pull out the material in there, and it's going to touch and detect where the seam is that it's going to weld, which is pretty cool. So yeah.
That brings up a good question, though. So robotics in general have a lot of technologies you can add to them depending upon the application. I don't know if anyone's seen the robots that actually pick fruit,
I'll take that from you.
but they use a camera that will recognize the shape of the fruit and the color to know it's ripe and ready to pick, and then it will extend out with if it's like an apple, a vacuum tube and suck it in. There's also scanners you can put on it. So you can put a 3D scanner that will actually go and scan a component and then match it up to the print to make sure it'll actually convert it to a print, and you can compare the two, see if it's within tolerance and passes inspection or needs to go onto the side. The cameras that you can add to these are 2 and 3D. 2D means it's going to be flat, of course, and it's looking to do just a certain pattern or whatever. 3D means it will actually know that it's got to go deeper if there's a picking from a bin and you're pulling parts out and you need to keep going down so it can recognize those parts. So that's another application of it, as well as color. There's some great videos where they actually will sort peels using a Delta robot, which looks like a giant spider, and it will pick and sort them at speed like you couldn't believe. No human could match it, but it's all based off of vision as well. I went and took some students to Smucker's facility in Tulsa one time, and they were actually making their Crustable sandwiches, and they would inspect it using vision to know that it was exact diameter, and when it came out of the oven, it was the exact brownness that it wanted, or it would reject them and kick them out. So a lot of options you can do with the robot for adding to it, enhancing it, and they're quick changes typically too.
Well, and then so a last touch up too, like I was talking about earlier, is talking about travel speed, right? So like I said, in welding class, you know, I didn't learn travel speed. It's adapt on the fly with what you see. Well, the robot doesn't know that in perspective. It only knows what the output is on the machine. So if y'all can see, the very first one that I did, right, welding at about 25 inches a minute. By the time we finished that up, we were really, really hot and I'm about to burn through. But with a simple adjustment from about 25 inches a minute to 35 inches a minute, we were able to maintain that profile like that. So that's another really cool skill that you'll have to learn with time goes on there, on being able to define a weld from start to finish entirely in your engineering. Can I get a volunteer that would like to write a program for fun?
You got one.
Got one?
Got one.
Got one. Come on up. Okay, so what I'm going to do here for you is
Come on in. Give him 2.
delete everything. Yeah, we'll do 2. So we're going to start here, right? So I'm going to delete that away, and right here you have all the different icons we're going to have. We're just going to focus on these front 2 right here. So linear and handle teach. So I'm going to toss in a linear point to where, hey, it knows that this is where I'm starting. This is where home base is going to be. And then what you're going to do is you can go ahead and hold it and take it. and you're gonna toss in the handle teach. You're gonna drag that into your timeline.
So I'm gonna play a video while he's going through it, while they're
now it
programming,
shows
just for you to
hey,
kind of see an application
we're
of
gonna go ahead and
a
move the robot. So
robot in
set the
an
timer
Audi
right here
facility.
so that you can see it. And now you're gonna come over here.
Come
and
over
you're
out of the
gonna
way.
flip this switch and unlock it. And once it goes blinking, then come over here and put 2 hands on it. Go ahead. Okay, unlocked. So now, and be gentle with her, okay? But go ahead and grab her. And so now you can start to move and teach. Remember that little side thing? We can teach as we go. So every time you teach, you're gonna see that it's gonna toss in a linear point. You're gonna hit the teach button every time. Yes, sir. So go ahead and grab 2 hands nice and gently. And so as you move and trying to come to here to make a weld, go ahead and teach as you go. So teach,
Those robots are actually applying glue to the doors.
teach, teach, and then get real close. You can get your hand up in there, you know, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, off, weld start, and now give me a weld end. You're gonna do the same thing, bring it over, hold for 3, weld in, and then now teach it how to go back home. Up, teach, twisting, teach, and home, teach. Okay, now lock it back in, flip that back over, and now it's locked in. So now you have your basic program. So you take hold of it, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna slide over here, and we're gonna take that and delete it. So that blue icon, yeah, you can grab it and drag it away, delete it, done deal. Said okay, and now we're gonna define the welds, and click on that top one and do like a weave, the weld 5 weave. That's kind of fun. And then give me also give me schedule 1, and so do the same thing on your weld end, because our weld start and weld end has to match. Okay, so now you have a program that can be played. Are you pretty confident in it, or you want to? Okay, cool. So we're going to give you 100%, and what you'll do is you'll take this and you'll slide it, and as long as you hold it, it's going to run through your program. Okay, going through this little weld.
This just gives you some ideas of ways that they're used in industry. This is a cosmetic facility.
Cool, man. Thanks for volunteering. All right, you next, bro. So let's do the same thing. So can't cheat. I'm gonna make you redo it all, and we'll do something different for you. So let's delete that even as well. Let's set it back to home, or a home-ish, and then I'm gonna toss
Pretty
in
interesting, huh?
that linear point. So now you have a home. So toss in your handle teach button, that second one there. Okay.
The yellow ones
For
are
this
the
instant, let's do
ones that aren't
like,
the cobots, so they have to be left alone, so to speak, because they're going to
Yeah.
move at a much more rapid pace
So what
than the
I want you to do
cobot.
now that you're gonna
So
teach
they're
it,
intended to be in a
I
cell all
want
by
you to
themselves,
take the
constantly
robot
doing something,
and I want
but
you
they
to
can
do
move
the
up to
vertical. So you're gonna roll
over
in,
18
teach you how
feet
to
per
come into
second.
here,
So it can,
weld
in a
start,
matter of a second,
weld
it can
in,
go
and then
that
walk away.
fast.
And
That's
then
why
we're
they need
gonna
that
unlock
safety
the robot.
surroundings. With a cobot, you can adjust the
blink and light.
speed and you can work
Two
right
hands
next
on
to
it.
it with no fear of
And
a
then,
human getting hurt.
gently
We're
move
18 feet per
and-
second by a robot that
You're on
can
the
pick
jog
up
button.
25 kilograms. If it hits you,
There you go. So now
it's-
teach
yeah,
as you go.
it's
Remember,
gonna
you
hurt,
watch and
absolutely.
Make sure that you're tossing in points. Yep, very nice. I'll make it a little lighter for you. So give me more of a approach into it. Sorry, yeah. Yep, there you go. Little bit more of an approach, and get right.
so let's have some interaction.
So
What do y'all think?
And now, oh yeah, it's a little light. I'll heavy it up. So
Weird.
come over.
All right, that's something. Why is it weird?
A hold for, you're gonna press that teach button for 3 seconds.
The way it moves?
1, 2,
Yeah.
3, off.
Yeah, it's just like AI. It'll never replace a human, but it'll get close, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Each one of the joints of a robot's
1,
called an
2,
axis.
3.
So this is a six-axis
Now teach
robot,
it how to
meaning
get back to
each
normal
joint
and go back to home.
has up to 6. That's what allows it all that multiple movement.
Teach.
They're called elbows and wrists,
Okay.
just like we have.
And then keep it going. Teach. And kind of give it a push. Yeah. Sometimes if you're a little.
No other comments?
Let go real quick. Yeah. If you're a little too jerky with her, she says, hey, I don't like that. All right, and teach. Cool. Lock it back in.
Uh-huh. Play that one again?
So now,
Yes, sir.
you can get rid of the robotic.
But I play one where it's welding
Over
or
to that.
inoculating cattle, I mean, you name it.
That last
There's-
one, yep. Done deal, okay, cool. Let's give it a weld. So you'll click on that weld start and give me a procedure. So let's go, click the tab down. Give me a weave 3, give me a 5. And then give me a, what is schedule 2? Is that any faster or schedule 3? Tell you what, we'll speed it up for you. Let's do a weld schedule 2, and then we're gonna match it and do a weave and a weld schedule 2. And then what I'm gonna do is do some cool shit. And I'm gonna slide over here to welding procedure. We're gonna go to that weave. We're gonna go to that schedule list. It was schedule 2, edit. And I'm going to do 100 inches a minute. So double the speed. Cool. Now that's saved. Come back to our program. Okay, cool. So now let's go through a rough draft, right? So now that you have everything, we're going to bring up that play menu, and you're going to do the same thing where you slide it to the forward or reverse, and every time you slide it, it's going to start going through your program. Kind of cool, huh? There you go. So done deal. Now.
So this was using
now
vision
you-
to pick
you-
the fruit out of one bin and put in
Disable
another.
the tablet, 100%. Go ahead and set the tablet back in, and press the green button whenever you're ready. Oh, right here. Sorry, right here on the actual deal. Now it's going to run through it without you dragging, dropping nothing. It's now a full inset audio automation motion. Cool.
Is that typically at speed or can it go?
Or it can go a lot faster, yeah.
Pretty fun.
I would assume because of
Anytime. Thanks,
the
bud.
ability to shake it loose, that it's got to go a certain speed, that vacuum's not going to be that great on that end of arm.
Any questions, guys? Anything that y'all want to see or talk about or anything like that?
So how'd the programmers do?
They did what? They did great. They did great. You want to see?
Yeah, let's see it.
That's our last one we just did. So I rolled it right in, and then again,
Uphill.
this is a mimic of our arms, right? This is literally from my arm down. So you can, whatever you can think of and create, we can do with that same robot. And the cool thing is the restriction here is it can twist 360 degrees. So my wrist can't twist 360 degrees, but that can. So that's how we can do some pretty cool, completely all the way around welds. But yeah, so any questions, man? Y'all hit me up. That's about what I got. Joe, what else do you want to talk about? Anything that I can touch on?
Guys, get a little closer.
Yeah, go up and look at it.
Yep. I'll slide it over to my other one.
Probably a little intimidating the first go around to see one.
You gotta let them stew on it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I've seen it, seen what you do. Did you weld those cans together?
He did. Yeah, that with that technology.
Go ahead and send them on back. Okay, guys, let's go
How
ahead
many
and
schools
head on
are
back to your
taking on this
third hour
technology?
class.
A lot,
Really?
absolutely. A lot of high school, a lot of community colleges. One of my biggest is Arapahoe Community College in
Yeah, man, it's really
Denver
cool.
area, Front Range Community College.
It's gonna be, you're gonna see a whole lot more of it in
Went
the
high
future,
school
so
there.
Did you really?
want to get a good chance to train up
My
some
father
kids
was
on it.
killed in
man.
a car accident.
It's gonna be
Right.
away.
I weld with whatever I got, but I've never been able to weld that galvanized to aluminum.
And so you can. I mean, this is the only process that you can do that with, and that is because those motors go in and out, not just in. Short circuit MIG, anytime you're going to MIG weld, I mean, all it's going to do is cram more material in. In this particular case, we can go in and out. Yep. Well, I can do anything else that y'all can normally do. Like I can do stainless, flux